Hi and welcome. I'm here today with Blue Knight rubber stamps, creating a card using the Winter's Cardinals stamp. And I'm going to show you how to create a card with snow. First thing we're going to do is create our background. I will be using the cloud stencil as well as pan pastels. The cloud stencils and the pan pastels are both available at Blue Knight rubber stamps. And I'll have the description box below. In my description box below, I'll have the information on how you can find Blue Knight rubber stamps, and these products will be linked. What's nice about the pan pastels is they're a highly pigmented pastel artist quality product, easy to use and great for creating backgrounds and also for coloring in images. And because the Cardinals stamp um, and the coloring that I'm going to be doing and the snow that I'm going to be layering onto the stamp is pretty prominent. You're not really going to see the clouds that much, but I felt it was important to have something in the background except than just plain old white background. So you can see how easy this is. I'm just using a foam applicator and gently applying the pan pastel. I'm using turquoise to the background. Doesn't that look great? It's one of the best ways to create a background. I just love the pan pastels and the cloud stencil. Blue Knight Rubber Stamps has a new stencil. It's called Reverse Cloud. I don't have that one yet, but I've seen videos on it. What I'm doing now is placing my stamp, which is the Winter Cardinals by Blue Knight Rubber Stamp, into my Misty. I'm using Brutus Monroe Raven ink. The reason I'm using this ink is it's very Copic friendly, and the markers that I use won't cause the ink to bleed. So now I have to color. Well, you're probably wondering, well, how am I going to color when I just put a background down? And I've already stamped over the background, but you wouldn't think you'd be able to color over the background, but you can because with pan pastels you can erase them. So I have this electric eraser, which is very nifty. I will have a link below to where you can find this electric eraser on Amazon, and I'm just erasing the blue in the background. It comes off just easily, and the white is now showing instead of the blue. So yeah, I have to do this for the entire image, but it doesn't take very long. And then when I do color it in with my alcohol markers, you can't see any blue in the area where the images are stamped. So for example, this cardinal that I just basically cleaned up, you can't see the blue anymore. It's just all white. So I'm going to fast forward through this section because it's basically just me erasing the pan pastels from the image. Now it's time to color. I have Ohuhu alcohol markers, and I'm going to start with my branches, and I'm going to use some dark brown and then some medium browns. They're very small branches. There's not a lot of space to make them three different colors in ink blend, but I'm trying to do a little bit of blending in sort of like the larger parts of the branches. So this is number
And
95 brown that I'm using right now. Seems to be funny be doing a winter card in July, but it is one way to get started on your Christmas cards so that you have some done. Because if it's anything like me, Christmas comes really fast, and then I'm to the point where I didn't make any cards. And this is going to help making a card like this in July. All right, the next color that I have is, let's see here. This is warm gray 1. Even though it's gray, it has like the warm tones in it, so it's brown. It's a light brown. I'm not, I'm being careful around the branches. I don't want to color them in completely solid because the image is etched in a way that you can see that this is to have snow on the branch. So you have to be careful not to color in the snow part. At least don't color it in with brown. You can color it in with a different color, maybe gray or something like that, because it's snow. But you want to avoid coloring those sections in with gray. I mean with brown. This is again number 95, Ohuhu markers. The artist makes it pretty easy for the person that's creating. You just follow the lines of the image and coloring the darkest where the dark lines are. And now I'm going to start coloring the fence. I switched over to number 96 on my alcohol marker. And I'm outlining the fence posts with my darkest color, being careful not to get any of that marker in the section where the snow is. We want to keep that as white as possible. I have black, which is number 120, and that represents like the nail posts in the fence. And then I grabbed number 91, and it's a lighter color brown. But I wasn't sure if that was dark enough, so I think a little bit later I go back in with some darker. And then this is number 91, sorry. The previous one was 95. This is 91. It has a little bit of a red to it, not that much. But the lines of the lumber there where the fence posts are, I'm going and coloring over those. Okay, so now I've got warm gray 1. I always think that weathered wood has a brownish gray color. I always think that it's not completely brown. So this is the beak of the cardinal, and I wanted that to be orange. And then the basically the mask around its face, we're doing that in black. And the legs are also sort of like an orangish yellow. And for the feathers, I'm going around the bird in this black marker just to outline it. Once we put the snow on, we want to still be able to see the shape of the birds, and this black is going to help keep it pronounced. They're very simple to color. All right, now we've got reds, and the red colors that I used were number 10, 12, and 15. So I started with the darkest, and this is number 15. These birds are pretty small. It's not going to take long to color them in. And then I'm going to a different color red. This is number 10. When you go to color the bird's head or any animal, try not to color over their eyes. Just leave a white space around where their eyes are. I mean, not a huge white space, but don't worry about getting real close to their eyes, because if you do, you have a tendency to accidentally color over them. And it's better to leave them not colored at all, and then they stand out a little bit better. So I am taking some of this light gray color and coloring in where the snow would be. Even though snow is not gray, sometimes when you have an image, you're better off to give it a little bit of color, a contrast then with the colors around it, and it looks like it's, white. It looks like at this point I'm just doing some touch up on the trees, making sure that I have all the branches colored in all the right spots. And if you're not sure, you can look at the card that came with the stamp, the laminated card that you store it on. You can follow the general guidelines of what they used for their colors and what sections they colored, what sections they left blank. Gives you some idea. Okay, looks like I'm in with the warm gray here. And then I'm just making the fence darker. I didn't like how light it was. I knew that when you put the snow over top, it mutes the colors a little bit. And I just felt like I really wanted that brown to be a stronger brown. So I just colored over top of everything. I think this is 96. It's either 95 or 96. I'm holding the cap in my hand, so sorry about that. Okay, now that our image is colored, we can go ahead and put the snow on, and this is the fun part. I'm using this laminated sheet on top of a clipboard is helpful. If you don't have it, just go ahead and find yourself a non-stick surface, whether it be like a glass media mat, they work really well. Um, just something that you can work on in case your paper slips. You don't want it sticking to your mat. That's why I would never do this on my mat, just straight on my mat. So I've got my Couture Creations sticky paper, sticky on both sides, super sticky. And I'm going to lay my card down on the paper and massage it so that I get a nice stick. And then I'll take my Tim Holtz anti-stick scissors and trim the excess. Okay, now I trimmed it and I'm going to trim the other side. You want to trim both sides close to the edge of your paper. All right. Go ahead and burnish that down with the bone folder. That helps to even out if there's any bumps. Now what I do is I get a piece of just plain copy paper, just a recycled piece of paper, and I use this to catch my glitter because you're going to be using glitter, and I use distressed glitter, and I use this, it's called Clear Rock Candy. It's by Tim Holtz. I've used a lot of different glitters with this technique, and this is my favorite by far. But any glitter that you have, it could be a clear glitter or white glitter. I wouldn't use silver. I think that would be too dark and it would cover up your image too much. So the hardest part is getting this paper apart. And you pull it off and you see that it's stuck to that card front. It's got that shine to it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just dump this on. One end first, then the other end. It's going to stick very well when it's all said and done. You don't have to worry about a bunch of glitter falling off your card because using this sticky paper, this makes it stick very well. I don't know of the other brands, but I have Couture Creations and I'm very pleased with it. I think it sticks perfectly. I don't have a lot of glitter falling off my card after I complete this process. And then I just dump the glitter right back into the container. I take my torn adhesive backing sheet. So the piece of paper that I used that came off of the Couture Creations, and I burnish things with that. So what you've got there is that's a piece of no stick paper, and it's what came right off the roll of the sticky paper, and I'm just using that to burnish. This is also going to help the glitter to stick. Okay, getting close here to the end. Now that we have our glitter put onto our card and we burnished it, we can go ahead and trim it down a little bit. You could have trimmed it before this. You could have trimmed it before you put your sticky paper on, but I didn't. I probably should have. I don't have any glitter at the top of this paper. I didn't put any glitter high up. So that side was easy to cut. This side might stick a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. It's a really good trimmer. This guillotine trimmer does a really good job of cutting through, hard to cut through materials. Okay, I'm just trimming the sides off here. Just following the natural boundaries of the stamped image. So there's not a lot of white space on the sides. Okay, now that it's trimmed, we can go ahead and mat it onto a piece of paper. I have a piece of black cardstock that I'm going to mat it on. It's a very thin border. You don't need a lot, just something to set it off with. I'm just using art glitter glue to adhere this. And then I'll mount this mat onto an A2 card base. And I'm using Brutus Monroe Raven cardstock. That's his black cardstock. Gonna use my art glitter glue again. Art glitter glue, that is. I like the black mat on the black card panel. I like that, especially with this image. Okay. Thanks so much for watching today. Please make sure you check out Blue Knight Rubber Stamps for all of these products and more. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you leave a comment. I read all the comments and I try to respond to all of them. I appreciate your watching today. Have a good day. Bye.